The North London derby is almost here. Let's hear now what Mauricio Pochettino has had to say.
You said after the Chelsea game the other day that the title was impossible now. Now you've had a couple of days to reflect. Do you still see it that way?
Yeah, of course. It was difficult after the Burnley defeat, and of course after Chelsea it's nearly impossible. Very difficult because, of course, it's going to be tough. We need to win all the games, and of course our two opponents above us need to lose a lot of games. And in this type of period, it's going to be difficult. Of course, we want to be dreamers, and we want to dream in football until you finish. And mathematics can be possible. Of course, you can dream, but to be honest, is not a possibility. The percentage is not too big.
Off the back of two defeats, is this a good fixture to have? One that you know that you're not going to need to do much in terms of motivating the players, in terms of bouncing back? Or on the flip side, is it a particularly difficult one to bounce back after two hard defeats?
I will tell after the game. Of course, to motivate the player for this type of game is an easy job, because we don't need to motivate them. I think we know very well what it means to play against Arsenal. We know very well that we are going to be motivated, and in front we are going to have a team that's very motivated too. We played twice this season, one Premier League game on Emirates that we lost, another Carabao Cup that we won, and of course it's going to be tough the third game on the season against Arsenal. They have a very good players, they are doing a very good job. Unai Emery is a great manager, I know very well him, and of course it's going to be tough. Always a derby, always was tough. After my experience here, nearly 5 years, every time that we play against Arsenal was a tough game.
And Harry's come back in. A lot of people will look at the fact that when Harry wasn't here, you won all 4 league games. He's come back in, and they've lost. Obviously, it's not as a direct result, but some people have added things up and thought that perhaps Harry coming back has maybe upset the balance that the team had found while he was there.
Make me laugh. I think it's unbelievable, but that is the era that we are living. I think Harry is one of the best striker or player on the world, and of course for different circumstances we didn't win, but of course Harry is one of the best players, not only here in Tottenham, if not in England, in Europe, and the world, and that is not doubt, and it's not a debate.
Well, Pochettino thinks it's not a debate. Let's have it anyway. Do Spurs need to think? Does he need to think about not including Harry Kane?
Of course not.
Okay, so it's not a debate.
not a debate. Not even a debate. And you know, someone was saying to me, is he affected Son and Son's form? No, I think that if you've got to try and get both of those guys into the team. Harry Kane is the main man at Tottenham. Son is somebody that his progression is just magnificent. He's got everything, and they fit together. You know what I mean? I don't think that one of them should miss out because the other one's in there. Son done brilliantly when Harry Kane weren't there, and that's what everybody say that Tottenham need. When Harry Kane gets injured, what's going to happen to Tottenham? Well, they've proven that they can still continue doing okay without him, but when he comes back, he's got to score, he's got to play, because he scores continuously against Arsenal.
Can it upset the rhythm of the team that's been on a really good run like that, to bring in a player, even one as good as Harry Kane? Can it just
I don't think so, Kels, because they're used to him and how he plays. So I don't think so, Kels, because they're used to him and how he plays. So they'll just revert back because they know that he is somebody that, as much as it may disrupt the rhythm a little bit, but they know that with Harry Kane, I was delighted to know that Dennis was fit and he was playing, or Tony Adams was playing, because it makes you feel more comfortable that we've got our main man back.
He scores goals, and he's got a goal against Burnley, so I don't think we can blame him for Spurs losing that game. No, you want your best players on the pitch. I think Spurs, it's not so much about Harry Kane. I think if they drop a little bit in terms of quality, in terms of intensity, in terms of the output of the whole team, they are not quite there yet, because they cannot win games at 80, 85%. They don't have that kind of individual superstar quality, with the exception of perhaps Harry Kane, or not perhaps, with the exception of Harry Kane. So I think it's more to do with maybe collective tiredness. or a team not being quite on it for a couple of games, which can happen. And in the end, you know, Spurs and Arsenal are always going to be very close in the table. The fact that it looked as if Spurs were running away with it said a lot about them and maybe a little about Arsenal. But things maybe are just coming a bit together again where they should be, because there isn't that much between those two sides. Pochettino has worked wonders, and Unai Emery, I think the jury's still out.
Yeah.
But they will be once again on more or less the same level when they face each other, as they were in the first time round, when Arsenal looked brilliant, but could have also on another day lost the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's hear then from the Arsenal boss Unai Emery on the game and on the potential impact of Mesut Ozil.
Victory tomorrow puts you just 1 point behind Tottenham. How important is it for you not only to get top 4, but for the fans perhaps to finish above Tottenham come the end of the season?
We were speaking about the opportunity, and each match is giving us the opportunity to win 3 points. And sometimes we can't take the big opportunity like tomorrow, because we were between 10 points different between Tottenham and us 2 weeks ago, and now we are in 4 points. But tomorrow we are going to play together, and for both is very important, because it's very different to win or to lose. But this big opportunity for us is for play with confidence in our moment, respecting them because they lost 2 matches, but they are doing a very big session, and play with a confidence, but also free, our mind free, and play doing things with a focus in our game plan, and only individually can be with this confidence.
How has he reacted to being in the team, then out of the team, in the team, out of the team? How has he reacted towards you?
He had injuries. Sometimes he has pain back, leg back, and another he was sick. Is the reason. We spoke first. I spoke with him, and I spoke about you, or to you, telling when he can be consistent and available to do the training, to take the rhythm, confidence for play, to be able to play matches is better for us.
Yeah.
Well, of course, he was asked about Mesut Ozil, and as well as he has played when he's been included, he hasn't played against a side from the top 6 since he was taken off against Chelsea in August. So what happens this weekend?
Well, if that's anything to go by, you probably won't start him in this game as well. You know, me and Rafa.
Would you?
I probably would, simply because I think that getting into this stage of the season, you need that creativity. And people say whatever they want about him doing it against a certain level and calibre of side, but I'd still put him in there to try and make him do it, because when he does play well, he is very, very creative. But, you know, I probably see Unai Emery leaving him out. I would try and play him. I'd try and get him in there. And, you know, it's a situation for me where if he doesn't do well, then you take him off. If it doesn't suit him, if he's not making an impact, you take him off and you change it. But I think that when you've got a player like that, you've got to give him the opportunity to play in that game to see if he can make a difference.
How would you play him then? How would you make room for him?
Well, this is the thing. We said because Mkhitaryan played well the other day. Me and Raf was saying I'd like to play Aubameyang and Lacazette as well. Don't know if that's going to happen. And then play maybe Mesut Ozil in behind them as the 3. And then you can have Guendouzi, Torreira and Xhaka in the midfield 3 as well. But I'm not sure what he's going to do. But when you look at this, and like I said, Bournemouth were terrible. Tottenham won't be giving them the time and space what they got in this game. But at the same time, I feel that Arsenal do need to go at Tottenham, who've lost the last 2 games, and try to put them under pressure early, put a goalkeeper under pressure. That, for me, is something that Tottenham have to start looking at, the form and the inconsistent form of Lloris. And Arsenal have got to try and take full advantage of any kind of weakness they could find in Spurs' side at the minute.
And would Ozil be the kind of player that could do that? He's shown that he can be. But as Righty said, there are those questions of at what level he can be. not overall, you can't really say that about World Cup winner, but, you know, of late, there have been questions as to what level he can do that at.
Yeah, but, I mean, the story around Ozil has changed because initially it was about tactical reasons, then we heard about physical reasons, and I think judging on what happened in midweek, he looks very sharp.
Yeah.
And I think you need a player that does certain things on the ball. Okay, he's never going to scream into challenges and scythe down the opposition playmaker and sort of win you an important yellow card for the team. But he does so many other things. And I think Arsenal have not really had that creativity in midfield that a team with such firepower up front needed.
Yeah.
They've been relying on the people up front coming up with almost their own assists, because behind them not a lot is really happening, I think. So he would be in that kind of shape. Would you really leave him out? I think you have to find a way to include him.
But they do have, as you say, the firepower. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang had a visitor this week.
The man we're about to meet and hoping to gun down Tottenham is Arsenal's sharpshooter, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So, the first derby this season was a very, very entertaining match. How do you like that? What was he like to play?
It was a good one. I think all the players were focused, and we played very well the game, and we were happy to win this game because we know what everybody is expecting from us on this game, and yeah, it was a great game.
It's like your third London derby now in all competitions. Do you get what it means to the clubs and the fans? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I feel that. I can see on social media, but as well when I was playing in Saint-Etienne and Dortmund, we had derbies, really good derbies, and I know the feeling of the people about this game, what they are expecting from you. So it's always something special, and if you win it, they will give you something more for the season, you know. So that's good.
And back in the top four now, how would you assess yourself, your season up to this point? You happy?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm happy. I think we can do maybe something more, but I'm happy. Hopefully we will finish in the top four. That's the target, and hopefully we can do it. I think if we do good results in Tottenham, okay, in Wembley, and if we have a good result against Manchester, we can have this impact.
Here's Aubameyang, poked on by Ramsey. Aubameyang for 5 to round off a fantastic day for Arsenal.
And 15 goals this season. How do you assess the way it's gone for you? Are you happy? I'm not 15 goals, I'd be happy. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy, but
with your home form and
I think I can do better. Honestly, I can do better, and I had a lot of chances last couple of games, and I missed them. So I'm a bit not sad, but not happy with me, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm okay because I got 15 goals. It's cool, and I'm near to the top. So yeah, I feel good. Nice. I can say that I feel good.
I mean, when you're doing your finishing training, do you constantly just hit the net?
Yeah.
Hit the net? Is that what you practice?
Always, yeah, of course.
What are you practicing on at the moment? Anything in particular?
This.
The whip.
The whip, you know. It's always good to have it, you know. Yeah, so I'm practicing this in this moment.
So we've got to talk about the Premier League and the Golden Boot and everything that comes with that. You know, I was somebody that when I went in the dressing room, I used to think, as Shearer scored, did Fowler score, did Owen score? Do you think about any of those other guys in respect of wanting to win the boot, and have they scored?
Yeah, of course. I always watch on my phone, you know, after the games. Of course, you know that feeling. You have to check, because it's not like in Germany. In Germany, okay, I knew that I have to check if Lewandowski scored.
Yes.
But here you have to check
so many people.
all the games, so many people, you know. It's cool. I think it's nice. It's a great challenge for a striker when you have a lot of good strikers in other teams. So then after the season you can compare you to other players. So
do you look at anyone in particular? I know you're going to be playing against Harry Kane. He's probably back for this game. He seems to do well against us all the time.
Yeah.
Do you look at the strikers?
Harry Kane, of course, because you know he's playing for Spurs.
Yeah.
But I know it was playing for Arsenal before.
Yes, when he was a child.
I look at him because I know it's a good striker and he scores goals a lot. So always when I check it, he's always scoring.
I know, that's like me. I used to check and Shearer always score.
Yeah.
When I scored 2, Shearer scored 3.
Always.
Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And then before we go, because I know you saw...
Yeah, I love that T-shirt.
But I remember the first time I really started to notice you was when you were scoring and you put the Spider-Man mask. A lot of people was asking, are we ever going to see the Spider-Man mask again?
Why not? I just changed house and I found the mask again. Yeah, but I want to change. You know, I want a new mask.
What mask? You're not going to tell him? Don't tell. You can't tell because you have to keep a surprise.
Yeah. I keep the surprise, but
I feel like I
need something that represent me.
Okay.
You know, so I have an idea, but
the Hulk. No, I'm only joking.
You will know soon.
No, it's fine, man.
Okay.
Listen, Pierre, I love you, man. Thank you very much.
I love you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So he wasn't telling anybody. Did he tell you?
No, you didn't tell me.
I wasn't going to ask you. I wasn't going to ask you what it was.
No, what's it called? No. He's got something up his sleeve, but like I think that what he's doing is he's just very much focused on making sure that he's scoring his goals, and you know what I mean, he's seen as a serious goal scorer, and that before he starts getting out his mask and what he's doing, because he's somebody that he can be out of the game. He can be out of the game for like 70, 80 minutes, and you know the chance will come, and he's very clinical in that moment, and that's what I think that people don't understand with him, is that he's not that striker that's going to be like, I don't know, like an Aguero, linking, doing all this stuff. But this is what he does. He's on the shoulder. He's in the areas where you can just finish it off, and that is where we get the benefits of him. That's what he's working on now. That kind of stuff, that kind of finish, that one-touch finish, being in the right place at the right time. You know, that's what I love about him.
God,
sorry, I thought pointing at a Mesut Ozil pass.
I thought
you were going to say something. I saw your arm go.
But this is what, like you said, this is what he's working on. This composure here, that curling and stuff like that. You know, he's somebody that, like I say, you need that service to someone like him. You know, you watch him in the games, he very rarely misses the target. And when he does miss, you know, he does miss somewhere, you know, he's coming across, and maybe it's because he's too lax. And we were talking about it afterwards when we were just saying, I said, even when it's a yard or 2 yards out, I said, I always used to think of those as important as when you're 10 yards out. Don't take it as a foregone conclusion that the goal has been scored just because you're close to the goal. And you kind of see him say, yeah, okay. Just be clinical all the time.
Yeah, every goal is as important
Absolutely.
as the other. And that's, look, it's not as though he's coming from a place where he's not particularly clinical to start with, because since he made his debut, there's only Mohamed Salah who's been involved in more goals since then.
He's been in a magnificent signing, and you know you can't take anything away from Lacazette and what Lacazette's doing as well. But he is somebody that, like I said, you get somebody like Mesut Ozil playing well behind him, Mkhitaryan, and you know you're going to score goals because he's a goal scorer. He's there to finish off.
He's been so impressive since he's come in, but because he's the kind of striker that Ian's describing, is that why? Because you always say you like to see him with Lacazette, because then you have a combination of skills and talents.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't lead the line in a kind of orthodox number 9 way. He is the guy that makes the run, that makes the little move, that finds space, and he's a little bit reliant on people seeing his movement and playing the kind of pass. He doesn't. If you compare with Harry Kane, for example, Harry Kane loves to go deep, loves to shoot from distance. He doesn't do all these things. That doesn't make him a worse striker. His numbers are amazing, and he was just as consistent at Dortmund. But I think it sometimes maybe gets the fans a little bit on his back because they don't see him working so hard or being involved in the game. and they like to see maybe a more kind of all-action type striker. But that's not his game.
That's not his game.
Arsenal in 4th place in the table. If this was Monopoly, they'd be building a hotel on it by now. That's their ambitions for the season, is to finish inside the top 4.
Yeah.
But you've got Manchester United just a point further back. You've got Chelsea just outside the top 5 with a game in hand as well. So what are the chances of Arsenal finishing in the top 4?
Chances are very, very good. Obviously, the Spurs game's massive, but when you look at Arsenal's running, I think that they've only got Man United left to play at the top 6. And when you look at Ozil's form against teams outside the top 6, he literally puts them away. So you have to say a good result against Tottenham. And, you have to say Arsenal's away record. Only beaten Huddersfield since November. See how poor Huddersfield are. It's not great, but when you consider what's at the end of it for Arsenal with the teams that they've got and the running that they've got, this is a really, really good opportunity to really kick on to try and get the 4th spot.